Hello everyone, Neagat here, and welcome to another match of Littlewargame. Today I'm bringing you a game played on Ravaged AA4 against myself with the red pieces in the top left, and I am playing against ItzJ in the bottom right with the blue pieces. Now, for those who may have watched my last video, this is the continuation of the kind of play session that I had with ItzJ. Um, if you haven't watched it, I'll go ahead and explain what happened. ItzJ played Mech, and he won the last game. He went for this castle first opening, and between games, I had some time to kind of reflect and kind of think about how I could have played a little bit better, how I could play a little bit more strong against his kind of opening. And I used a lot of that information I gained from the first game in that second game that we're playing right now. So I think we're both going for the exact same opening. He's going for castle first. He's already got his worker out a little bit, and I'm going for a regular house into barracks into a raider scout. That's the opening I learned the game on, so it's just going to be the opening that I continue to play with. So that's basically what I'm going for. Um, as we are continuing on, I'm just going to speed things up. Something I like to do with this worker is kind of just scout around the base, see if my opponent maybe did some shenanigans and snuck a worker in here or something. I look around basically just checking the areas where there could be proxies, and then I move forward using that information. Let's go ahead and speed this up just a little bit longer. My opponent went castle first and then workshop, like I stated earlier. I have my raider here, kind of just here to scout, and I think this is the first place where the second game goes a lot different than the first one did. So with this raider, I'm a little bit more aggressive. He ends up getting trapped because of it, um, but I think I think I'm gonna be okay. Like I said, I'm way more aggressive this time. This time, instead of getting caught here, I ghost in and basically trying to do some damage there. Wanted to see what his workers were gonna do, and so that's why I stayed on the ramp there. At the same time, I get my castle down, start building some units, start getting that second barracks going, and I think I start another raider here soon. But yeah, basically, because he went for this castle first opening, he does not have any units to defend his workers, and as a result, I'm able to just kind of do a lot of damage here. I'm able to pressure his Gatling gun, and this raider does get a lot lower, so I do end up blinking away. I definitely think I should have just kept pressuring with a more healthy raider, but I just decide, okay, gonna blink away, gonna focus on stuff happening at home, especially involving my economy. So while I'm microing here, it's definitely a lot harder to micro at home at the same time. So going for this Gatling gun. There's the pullback I wanted to do in the first place. Um, Having these guys on two different hotkeys is really helpful for that. I remember doing that at one point, basically sending this guy away and letting this raider do a little bit of harassment. He has the second Gatling gun out. He does. He does. ItzJ is really good at anything to do with mech micro as of the moment. He's really good at stutter stepping with Gatling guns and doing a lot of damage. So this is just fantastic play out of my opponent already. My follow up is getting two more raiders, and I believe uh, we'll see. Yeah, so I get a third base very quickly. Basically, my thought is that I've done a little bit of damage to him. Um, he's only lost a worker, but he's pretty much taken a lot of pressure. So I think he's pretty much forced to stay at home. I've kept him on two bases. I think I can expand. And this is before I see the second workshop. So I don't think I saw him build the second workshop yet, and this made me think that I was safe. Well, I do like this blink in, by the way. I think it's very strong. Um, Being able to blink in and kind of just like one shot his units like this is super duper strong. And now we can see that he doesn't really have anything to keep his units safe at home. His catapults are in this airship, and I'm just doing a tremendous amount of damage. I get more raiders because of how much damage these raiders are doing, and I just want to keep capitalizing on that. At some point, I'm hoping really soon I do transfer out of raiders because um, having to deal with stuff like catapult drops, which is like this is the opportune time for me to have to deal with a catapult drop. I don't have any ranged units to deal with this. Um, he, I hope he gets a lot of value from this. Is basically what I'm saying. I respond with just going on the attack here. I decide, I'm just now that I see that he has units here, I'm just gonna attack. And well, again, having to micro in one spot means that you're not microing in another spot. So that's what's happening here. Um, Even though I transfer these workers to start mining the third base, this is like really hard for me to actually do any mining because I don't have these archers out like I should have. Yeah, I definitely should have had these guys out earlier. It looks like I do decide to go in again, and now I have I just one shot their units, and um, as a result of the micro that's occurring on all the sides of the map, I end up getting this a catapult kill with a worker, and I end up kind of just stalling out this catapult drop. So this drop could have been super efficient, but it just ended up not being super efficient. I think I lose a raider here. Ooh, I hope I. Ah, yes, I lose this raider, I believe. Oh no, I didn't. I didn't even lose the raider I thought I was gonna lose. But I knew I was really greedy with staying there. But I think it was worth it. I got a Gatling. Yeah. So the difference is between this game and last game. I'm way more greedy and I'm way more aggressive with what I can do with these raiders, and I'm getting more of them too. I'm basically blinking in, one-shotting his Gatling guns, and then moving out, regenning the health, and then moving forward from there. While at the same time getting this third base, which is something I didn't do that last game. In the previous game, I was basically on two bases doing the exact same thing I'm doing now, and that kind of led me to stall out extremely quickly. Ooh, my opponent is now going for third base. He knows I have mine as of this moment, but I'm really curious to know when I start putting out he's got his third base. Um, in case one source of harassment wasn't enough, I now have catapults. I'm super excited about. And my opponent has a ballista, so that's gonna probably be really good against these catapults. Ooh, let's see if I notice these. Oh, I jump in. That was probably the wrong move. That was the wrong move, Neagat. But I do see this third base now. That's the really important thing. And then I do a micro mistake and end up losing the raider anyways, which is really sad. But I do see his third base. That kind of tells me that he's not planning on going for an all-in. He's probably just gonna shore up some units, like keep some units alive, and then start moving. Um, I had this drop. Definitely should have been microing this drop a little bit better so that these guys would be attacking these workers right here, and I think I do eventually start doing that. At least I hope. Yeah, now I move him. Here we go. But he does a really good job of keeping me away from these catapults, basically, if I remember correctly. Um, Look at this micro. He's so good at doing this. Or I'm really bad against playing against it. But basically, how I see this interaction going is he in this airship he has this ballista. So I can't go and pick up the catapult that was here because he could have dropped the ballista and I could have lost the airship, which would have meant that I would have lost this catapult as well. At the same time, he tries to push out against the map, so um, he's basically just trying to push with these units. I load up this airship, and I'm really curious to see if I start attacking him. Use my raiders to kind of repel him a little bit. But yeah, basically just have my single archer. I don't know. I could be doing better here. Yeah, so he just moves up and moves back. He's trying to take control of the center of the map. At the same time, I have 5 bases mining as of the moment, and I am getting a lot more production. So, the last game I was playing, I only had, I think, 3 barracks, catapult, a workshop, and an advanced workshop total. And so this game, I'm thinking, I'm not making the same mistake. I have to get even more production now. And so that's what I start doing. I start building more barracks so that I can start getting more units on the map. Typically, whenever I build a castle in this location, or in this location, I like to build a house or some sort of structure on this platform so I can have vision of what's going on. That lets me kind of know that this castle is mostly safe, and then it's good for that reason. My opponent, he starts moving out. This can be considered an all-in. I'm not sure if it is or not, but um, it's all of his army. It's all of his army, and he's moving out against the map. I see he doesn't have a base there, but he's basically moving against me with his whole army. He has nothing at home, as far as I can tell, and we're basically going to have a little bit of a showdown now. I decide to load up these archers and try to drop on him, and I definitely should be attacking with everything instead of just moving like that. But yeah, having these archers kind of drop on top of the catapults, or as close to the catapults as possible, is really nice because it makes it so that the catapults can't attack the things that are attacking them, right? And so that's an advantage. But yeah, I pretty handily take care of that. At the same time, I see that my opponent doesn't have this base or this base. I sent out these raiders to kind of scout what was going on, and then at the same time, I have these 5 bases, which is letting me kind of accumulate this army that's way stronger, especially stronger than what I had last game. At the same time, dropping in his base and making him come home with his catapults and having to deal with what's going on. Again, I could be microing this a lot better, taking control of these units and actually like making them get value or having them retarget some stuff. Um, but I'm not doing that because I'm focused at home, kind of building stuff, getting more supply. It's alright. Something that I decided to do this game was also get a mages guild, in case I wanted to get some catapults, or no, in case I want to get some mages, mages with fireballs. They do pretty well against mech. They have a lot of burst damage, and the mech army typically performs really well against long engages. So having burst is really good. My opponent attacks kind of just with the scouting force. I think it was just the units that was left over from this attack. And so he attacks there. I decide that I want to kind of attack or at least gain some position. So I want to be out on the map. I definitely don't want to die on the map. I don't want to just send in an archer ball and get destroyed for no reason. But I wanted to send out some sort of units because I was already maxed out on units, and basically I knew I had more economy than my opponent did, so I kind of wanted to move in and get some damage in as quickly as I could. So I don't think that was a good trade for me. I think it was actually a terrible trade for me if I remember that correctly. I can even look at the income tab here. No, I guess we've traded relatively even so far, but I definitely could have been trading better that fight, I think. Yeah. Again, this platform, it's just such a strong platform. Not being able to see what's going on up here makes you so susceptible. Like, Like my opponent is microing against technically like just an archer, and I'm able to kind of just take care of stuff at home, transfer these workers, keep building, and he's worried about like pressure that I might have on this ridge line. At the same time, I'm massing units, so I decide to put my rally points a little bit further up into this location. That way, I'm able to kind of control this spot, a little bit of this spot, and then definitely like this area, especially with putting this airship here, kind of lets me see what's on my flanks. So I'm basically massing up. I'm trying to do the same thing my opponent did last game, and what my opponent did last game was he kind of took control of the map and made it so I couldn't expand. I'm trying to do the same thing to him. So I'm sending these guys down to this bottom left base. At the same time, I'm sending these guys over here to kind of do some damage with what's going on. Again, he does a fantastic job of having this ballista in his airship. It does so much against things like these airships, where airships can give so much value. But now we have this matchup, right? The archer versus catapult matchup. This typically is catapult favored because of how much burst damage they can do. However, I have these supporting catapults. I have a lot of archers, and to me, this fight doesn't matter too much because it's not my whole army. I have these units that are down here that are putting a lot of pressure. I should eventually be able to amass a ton of units back here, and it is true he got a really good trade. I did lose a lot of money or a lot of value from that fight because I guess archers don't match up well against catapults, which fair enough, that's absolutely true. But I have more economy than he does. I have more resources to pull from than he does, even though he is trading really well. So let's see what happens here, because he has a good amount of strength here. I was able to deny him this castle, however, so he's even though he did win the fight, the big fight, I was able to keep him off an additional castle. He's able to pull his workers though, which is good for him. And now comes my turn of basically just rebuilding what I lost. I have the money to do it. My opponent is also doing the same. He's trying to position himself. He's trying to get this base, and I think oh no, looks like I haven't noticed. I might notice that he's going for this base eventually. I might send a worker out. Oh, this is very dangerous. Sending catapults unsupported like this is a very dangerous thing to do. If I airship drop them, very exposed. They're also just very exposed in general. At the same time, he is attacking here, but I did happen to have some units just ready for him. Oh, also, you notice I have some soldiers in this composition. I basically decided to just get some soldiers with them. I don't know how they match up against catapults exactly. Probably not very well, since they could get attacked by my own catapults. That's actually another reason why I like the archer and catapult composition so much, because you get the burst damage of the catapult and you get the control and the like sustainability that archers can give, which is really nice. Basically loaded some airships. Just wanted to scout what's going on over here, and then use these airships to kind of drop if there was a base over there. So now I know that this base is being put down. My opponent is trying to have control of this area, and this is where I decide to kind of attack into this position. If my opponent had the like 8 catapults from the fight that occurred over here, now this would be an entirely different fight in my mind. He would have been able to kind of like repel this from happening, but he doesn't have those catapults, and I think because of that, I was able to kind of move in here very quickly and do a lot of damage to this area. At the same time, My opponent is able to do some harassment, but I have the control here. Oh yeah, some harassment. I'm able to pull these guys away. I have archers here to kind of come in and attack this a little bit. But like I said, I do have the control. And now I'm able to pressure this area, especially because I have this under control with my army, as well as putting some pressure with my soldiers. Doing a lot of damage, or doing a lot of pressure rather, with these guys, and this micro can be really annoying to deal with. Like I said, catapults and airships are a very strong combo. Like for instance, he can drop here and do a lot of damage with these against these workers now. So yeah, so that's just going to be something I have to deal with until I get some more units here. At the same time, I'm sending my army to pressure his main base. And this is basically the question now. Do you have the army to stop me from being able to push into your base? And the answer is no. I've been able to keep him down to 4 bases, and you know he hasn't been able to stop me from expanding this time. And as a result, I'm able to press the question, ask him, "Do you have the army to stop me?" And this time he did not. So well played, well played by my opponent, ItzJ. This time I was just able to play a little bit better, and even though the games were really even, I felt like the games were really even. I did end up coming out with the win, um, but he played really well. I was actually really impressed with how well he played. So well played, and I'll see you in the next video, guys. Have a great one.